Howdy, I'm Prakuza, and welcome to DevBox, where we take games and pick around their insides to see what makes them tick. Today, we'll be trying out a challenge run to push our current target to the limits of what is possible within the game systems. In this case, we're going to be taking a look at Dark Souls Remastered and asking the question, how quickly can we get the Moonlight Greatsword? For those of you who know me personally, which is an exclusive list of my mom, my girlfriend, and my sister, so one person. That was a dumb joke. That was a very dumb joke I have in there. It's so stupid. Why did I write this? Then you'd know that the Moonlight Greatsword is my favorite weapon in, well, I was going to say Dark Souls, but honestly, it's just my favorite weapon. Ever. In anything, game or otherwise. I mean it. I love this thing. Which is why it's always bugged me how late into the game I always get my darling Moonlight. Over halfway through Dark Souls 1, almost through the entirety of Dark Souls 3, and we don't talk about Dark Souls 2 on this channel, and all the way into the DLC for Bloodborne. This is simply too long to wait to have the Greatsword in my hands. So, we're going to make a mad dash for it, and while we're at it, why don't we theme our entire build around it? But more on that in a bit. For now, we need to head out and get ready to wield our primary weapon. Unfortunately, this does mean that we have to get past the Asylum Demon, which, for me, means killing him. Although there is a trick to keep him from dying, but I'd forgotten how to do this at the time of the recording, so yeah, he's gone. Regardless, we'll kill him the standard way, and we'll kill him with Pyromancer Firebomb, as we need to start with a Pyromancer's Flame in order to ensure we can get the Moonlight Greatsword later. And that means our starting gift has to be the Master Key, so we don't have access to the black firebombs that allow for the quick kill. So, no way to not kill the Asylum Demon anyway. Sorta, quote. Now, once we arrive in Lord Ran, things are going to start getting glitchy. And that is because we need to be able to make use of some skips and other exploits in order to even make our way to Seath to have an opportunity to acquire the Moonlight Greatsword in the first place. So, for anyone who doesn't like when a quote-unquote challenge run uses soul dupes for easy levels, look away. We're going to need them, since we'll soon be heading somewhere that will soft lock us until we can make enough progress. However, first we have a few things to start picking up. Starting with the weapon that will get us our real weapon later on, that's right, the speedrunner's favorite, the Black Knight Halberd. All we have to do is parry loop the Black Knight, and oh wow, what is this damage? Goodness. I'm so used to using the Bandit's Knife at this point from starting as a Thief class that I had no idea the hand axe was so terrible at killing the Black Knight. I might honestly suggest going into Undead Burg and buying a dagger from the Undead Merchant to make this go a little faster in the future. Because damn, that is a pathetic fucking repost right there. Well, nothing a kick in the pants off the edge can't solve, and now we have our real starting weapon that will get us our real ending weapon. But, of course, our stats aren't even close to wielding it, nor this Grass Crest shield I picked up while I was here. So, we'll grab up a few more items and get ready to start cheesing the shit out of this game. Which is honestly one of the reasons I gravitate towards replaying DS1 so much more than a lot of the other FromSoft games these days, even though Bloodborne is my actual favorite of the bunch. More on that later. To start the cheese, we'll buy a bunch of arrows from Andre, and then keep that number stored in our system memory. Then we'll move all of our soul items to the top of the item menu and pull a quick soul dupe. In order to accomplish this glitch, all you have to do is set whatever you want duped at the top, and then head over to the system settings, hover over brightness, enter the input for select, and swap over to items at roughly the same time. It'll be different based on what controller you use. This will give us plenty of souls to level up until we can wield the Black Knight Halberd, as well as upgrade our health, stamina, and intelligence in anticipation of getting our intended final weapon. Now, why go so over the top? Well, the short answer is because I wanted to, and the long answer is this was actually supposed to be a test build, and one of the skips was such a pain in the ass to learn that I didn't want to have to do it again after practicing. So yeah, we'll be doing the rest of this with a ridiculously overpowered build. Not that this run was ever meant to be any kind of challenge anyway, the challenge is more about getting into locations early rather than the difficulty of the bosses themselves. And the first boss on our list is Iron Golem? Okay, guess we have to get past Gargoyles and Quelaag. Huh? Skipping that? Okay. Alright, straight to Iron Golem. Well, almost. We have some preparing to do first. Namely, we're going to get a few spells in order to get this run going in earnest. And to do that, we're going for our second major glitch of the run, and a skip that only really matters if I don't want to take the path under the Dragon Bridge, which I don't want to do. So skip to my loo, my darling. Alright, to set this skip up, all we need is to find these stairs. And yes, there is another place that we could drop from, but this is the one I know better. And make a quick jump up the stairs and over the nearby railing. If you did it correctly, you should land right here, on the railing of the lower section where the rubbish can be found. Now we just drop here and boom. We're in Lower Undead Burg without needing the basement key. Although, it should be noted, we certainly aren't safe here. The dogs and the thieves are ready to quickly bleed us to death, even at our higher levels. A note for anyone coming here before leveling Vitality, this death will come all the quicker. So either hurry to one of the 2 shortcut doors, and get them open so you don't have to do the skip again, or head over to the fire and wait for everyone to sacrifice themselves to the flames. Now we're gonna free Griggs with the residence key that we bought from the Undead Merchant. Oh yeah, we bought this from the Undead Merchant. Forgot to mention. This will give us a sorcery catalyst and access to some of Griggs' spells. Namely, we can find him back at Firelink and buy Fall Control. This will be imperative for a version of a skip that I don't use for this specific attempt, but can be a solid way to do the skip if you can get it down. Next, we need to head down to Blighttown and pick up Power Within. Kill the wall grossness, and there we are. Now we should be strong enough to get our weapon, no problem. And yes, this will make more sense in time. We're going to need the endgame level damage, and it needs to be excessively high. Alright, now that we're prepared, we can finally head to Sen's Fortress for another skip. This one might be more familiar to the speedrunning crowd out there. Yep, we're performing Sen Skip, something that I've definitely never died doing before this run, and will absolutely keep that track record of moving forward. Right? To do this skip, we need to get this guy's attention and lead him down to this pillar on the stairs. Then we bait out an attack, parry, riposte with our fist, and there it is. We're in death cam mode. Movement sucks in death cam. It's essentially tank controls, and on controller, the slightest movement on the analog stick translates to turning completely around. So if you aren't used to it, you can easily find yourself spinning in circles with little chance of righting your trajectory. Just pull off the movement, recenter, and start figuring out where you're going. Fortunately, our goal isn't too far, and can be found pretty easily. In this case, it means heading out towards Sen's Fortress and running out on the bridge towards the gate into this trap-filled hellhole. Both of which were not loaded in properly, so we can walk right in, all the way until the Sen's Fortress text pops up. Quit out and reload, and here we are, behind the gate and free to explore Sen's Fortress. However, this comes with a few caveats. Point the first is the fact that we're now stuck in here, like permanently. Unless we die, or homeward bone, but only before we've rested at a bonfire. Normally, this would mean we want to make sure not to rest at any bonfire, through fears of being soft-locked, but given the challenge of some of the upcoming skips, we're going to rest for now. We'll be taking an alternate route out. Point the second is that if we do die before finding a bonfire or getting what we came for, we'll be sent back to Undead Parish, and need to redo the skip if we want access back in here. Not a huge deal, but a pretty annoying time waste. Point the third, we're already at the top and the Iron Golem is already dead. It's not a difficult fight with a +3 Black Knight Halberd, thanks to some crystal lizards we killed earlier. So not much to talk about here. If you have trouble with this boss, like if he gets a little handsy and starts yeeting you into the abyss, feel free to get a helping hand from Iron Tarkus. Dude can solo the golem, no problem. Even in New Game Plus cycles. A true legend to every Dark Souls noob out there. Anyway, now we get to head to Anor Londo via the Gargoyle Express. Don't let them touch the goods and everything will be okay. But like, seriously, they always try reaching for the Grundle? Real unprofessional, guys. Here at Anor Londo, we're almost there and ready to do the final skip to get our desired weapon. Well, second to last. However, in true Dark Souls 1 fashion, there are actually 2 options for how to do this skip, both of which are incredibly difficult to accomplish. Method the first, I was dazed between writing these jokes and I didn't realize how repetitive it became, is to head over to the spiral elevator. Kill the gargoyle at the bottom for safety. The Belgarian kind, not the bat kind. And now we can start actually setting up the skip for real. First, we need to set our weight to be right on the cusp of medium rolling, specifically right under the 30% equip load mark, but still over the light load limit. This will unlock a nifty little glitch for us that the community has decided to call meme rolling. You know, because internet. And what this lets us do is roll all the way down from the top of this staircase to the bottom. And by roll, I mean exactly that. The result is that if the meme roll is done right, then the iframes that come with dodging applies against the fall damage that should kill you at the bottom of the drop. Of course, this drop is a touch too high to survive, even with a meme roll, which means we'll have to fuse this glitch with another. See, it was worth making the jump down to unlock Griggs, because we need to use the fall control spell in conjunction with the lingering Dragoncust ring, both of which come from Grig. This will allow us to survive as long as the spell remains in effect, which is extended slightly by the ring. The result is that we can now run back up the spiraling elevator, across these neat looking tiles, and then flip right under the world to look back up at our blue feet. You might also notice that we're back in the death cam state, just like the last major glitch we tried. And just like last time, the plan is to get past a wall that won't load as long as we're in this state. It's as simple as running up the elevator across the tiles and up the hill that leads to the Duke's Archives. Quit out right at the end, and here we are, behind the golden fog wall that usually blocks off progress until you've killed Ornstein and Smug, which we'll be doing shortly, but I want to kill as many bosses as possible with my desired weapon, so that means holding off until a little later. Now, once you're in here, just make sure not to die to... Well. Fuck. Okay, not a problem. Guess that just gives us a chance to try the other method. Don't mind the many changes that have suddenly happened to my build and the fact that this is being recorded on a different character entirely that's been cut together through the power of editing. Instead, let's just take a look at my fancy footwork. Starting with this incredible jump that I definitely landed on the first attempt. Honestly, neither of these skips took very long to master. I definitely didn't spend 3 days going between the two, failing so many times that I almost assumed the skips had been patched. As the footage suggests, they weren't. Well, while I've been talking, a few things have happened. One is, I've been using some precise rolls and aiming with my bow to do what is called seam skip, I think. I could look it up on the Speed Souls site. A wonderful resource for speed and challenge runs, by the way. Go support. But I'm far too lazy for that. Second is, I'll be making a quick jump to get around the golden fog and above the tunnel with the bulls. Now that I'm here, I just have to fall in. Just gotta fall right in. Just gotta fall right in. There we are. Yeah, this part of the cheese took a while too. Side note, it turns out that you'll be building velocity the entire time that you make it through here, which means that sometimes jumping and landing either down on the ground or up above the hallway will result in a death. If the drop starts to take some time, just quit out and it should bring you back right here above the hall again. Then just keep doing the drop until either you get it or you've been floating for a while, then quit out again. If you keep doing this jump, it'll happen. If you can master the button presses, it can be consistent, I hear. I haven't mastered it myself, so can't really confirm. For me, it's kind of just luck of the draw. Anyway, once we're down here, kill the bull, or run, maybe run, definitely run. If we die here, we'll have to do one of the skips all over again. And don't forget to not grab the bonfire, because then there will be absolutely no way out of here. The golden wall won't go down, even if we kill Seath, and we still don't have warp yet. So that will softlock this save if we sit at any bonfires from here on out. That also means having to do another skip. While gameplay proc sets up for how to get around the mandatory Seath death, since that will also softlock us, let me give a little advice for anyone trying out these glitches to get the early Moonlight build themselves. As we've demonstrated, there are 2 major skips that can help us get early access to the Duke's Archives. However, both of these definitely have their own benefits and deficits. For the rest of this build, we'll be watching from when I did it with the seam skip, because that was the one I was able to get working on controller, which is my only control option because I'm playing on console. Therefore, this is what I'd recommend for anyone playing on console. For PC, on the other hand, mouse and keyboard can have more precise control over the tank mechanics, with the meme rolling death cam version of the skip. So if you have keyboard support, that would definitely be my recommendation. With proper control of the character, that is definitely faster and easier to learn, especially after already learning tank controls to get through send skip before this. Moving forward, we've arrived at the final skip we need to do in order to walk out with our intended weapon, Seath Skip. This one has been shown off all over, but I'm using the bow method again, mostly because this is the way I found to be the most consistent in my practice. Point the bow down like this, roll right, roll forward, then roll backwards, and wait to see the top floor of the library zip past, and roll one more time. Now, you should be standing in position to run down along these balconies straight to the end of the Duke's Archives and head into the Crystal Cave. Keep running, pick up some drip real quick, and you'll be at Seath. As I demonstrated in the last Dark Souls playthrough, a quick quit out after starting the fight can get rid of the clams as they try to barge into the boss fight. Then run around behind Seath and stand next to the crystal. Now we wait for a little bit. It's fine, Seath will make his way. Eventually. Alright, buddy, gonna need a bit more pep in that step. Slide? Slither? Sure, slither. More plither in your slither. I'll keep working on that one. Well, when Seath finally gets over here, we wait for him to attack the secret to his own immortality. We really did whip him into a blind rage here, huh? Either way, having him break the crystal means that we have just enough time to get behind him and deal the damage we need to cut off his tail. And there it is, the Moonlight Greatsword. Ah, you were at my side all along, my mentor, my guiding moonlight. Fuck, I hate Ludwig for bogarting my favorite weapon. Anyway, Seath gives it up a lot easier, and now we can leave. We'll come back to kill the dragon later. We didn't come for a kill. No, the next kill will be against Ornstein and Smo, because of the aforementioned time it took to get those skips to work. I mean, it didn't take time at all, and this was always planned. I just wanted the warp right from the start. Yeah, right from the start, and now we have it. Did I just skip over ONS? What happened to the make or break blah blah blah? Oh right, super powerful weapon with a cheesed build that's soul dupe for levels right from the start. Got it. So ONS are dead, and we can start warping around. Now let's go pick up the final piece of our build and be on our way. That comes from warping back to Undead Parish and challenging the Moonlight Butterfly. I could have killed him first in order to put this together before I'd gotten here in the first place, but I wanted to kill as many bosses as I could with the Moonlight Greatsword. So, now we get to kill the butterfly with its own light source. After that, we've still got a few steps to make, because we need to get a +10 shield to finish this build up, and that means killing the Copper Demon again. He goes down easy enough this time because, again, we're very powerful, and there we go. We have the key to the depths, which unlocks the large ember, which allows us to head over to Andre and get that shield. Now, however, we've got to head back into Anor Londo, which means quickly running all the way through to the giant blacksmith, who can turn our +10 shield into the crystal round shield. And there it is. The build is done. We've got our magic weapon, our magic shield, and some crystal drip to match. It's a neat build, and I've got some boss deaths playing in the background, but at this point, there's really little point in going over any of them. There's nothing to be taught anymore. This is legitimately just a weapon build to take through what will be a pretty standard playthrough for the rest of Dark Souls, including gathering up the 4 Lord Souls and heading off to kill Gwyn. Oh, I did decide to take this into the DLC, but there's no puzzle here to solve, just bosses to kill. Sure, they're tough, but I just hit them until they died. So, I guess this is the end of the video. You can go home now. I mean, you can like and subscribe if you want. I'd like that. I'd love that, in fact. Please do that. Yeah, totally do it. But otherwise, there's little else to talk about when it comes to using an already powerful weapon. Except, I would definitely suggest this one for anyone looking to try out some challenge running for yourself. Do it without the soul dupe, even. Maybe don't do the crystal drip, though. This stuff is super heavy. Although that does give me an idea for another run down the line. But hey, that's a story for another time. See you soon.